Let's see. I might as well turn on my desktop audio, I think. In which case, that's the wrong icon. In which case, I might as well also switch my audio device to this. Okay, so we're back with the Action RPG, not Souls-like, as that video that I uploaded like 2 weeks ago talked about in depth. I can talk about it a lot more in depth, but that will just get me sidetracked, which is probably what's going to happen because you guys know me. We're back with that project. The TCG Tycoon is finished. I still haven't uploaded on itch.io. I wanted to do it today, but then I kind of got distracted doing work. And then while I was rendering things for work, I kind of got distracted playing RuneScape. And now I'm live. So I'll do that some other time, potentially like this weekend or something. But for now, we're back to this project right over here. Hold on a moment. Right over here. We've got the... That's not the dungeon that I wanted to show. Anyway, we've got this project over here, right? And I am not entirely... What the hell is up with that texture? I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do today. I didn't plan this at all. All that I knew is we're going to get back to this particular game, and there's a lot of lighting that's kind of weird. Is it because I'm now on high settings? Like if I go down back to medium, this wall is still very, very weird. Okay, so we might need to redo some lighting at some point, which we need to redo some lighting at some point anyway. But I think what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna play through and see where we run into issues. Just to remind myself of where we're at, what needs to be like updated, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be updated, all that kind of. I think I said updated twice. All that kind of stuff. Let me finish my energy drink so that I can like be alive during this. Man, that stuff's always gross. But not as gross as coffee, so it's the way I take my coffee. Okay, with all that done, we can switch over to water, which tastes a lot better. Which is to say, well, it doesn't really taste like anything, does it? But not tasting like anything is better than tasting like Red Bull. Well, it's not technically Red Bull, it's like off-brand Red Bull. Let me lower the volume for you guys a little bit, because I think that's pretty loud. That seems a little bit better. So yeah, it's just, let's just get started. I don't think my GPU likes the fact that I'm streaming and rendering this on high quality at the same time. Oh, okay. Oh, enemy patrol location. Okay, so that's the first thing. I did actually update something in the last month. Like I did like 2 things in this project. The first of which is I now have the patrol locations for the enemies working. So remember, before we moved on to making that 2D game, I updated my my stuff to, okay, not in here apparently. In one of my maps there is, oh, you're just in this one, that makes sense. I updated the behavior tree for this guy. I'll just open him up real quick. Somewhere in here, surely, the BT assets. Oh, things are a little laggy. Oh yeah, I wanted to set this to medium. That's right. I need to get a better GPU one of these days when I can get it. Anyway, so yeah, we had this find patrol location stuff, but we're not using it anymore. I deleted that. Instead, what I did is I'm just running an EQS. And the EQS that we're running is simply, it takes in the patrol location. Actually, what does it do? That's a very good question. Enemy patrol location. So what it does is it takes in, yeah, so the ground enemy base has a points of interest array. We made this in a previous stream at some point. And then it just takes a random one out of that, and it gets that location, and it returns that as the resulting location. So from there, what it does is it creates a grid of query points, and then the thing that is the query point that is the closest to the actual point that we're trying to move to, and also the closest to the thing that's doing the querying, which is the enemy actor, will be the point that we try to move to. So if, for instance, let's open up Zoom it real quick. If, for instance, we have an actor that we want to move to, so like this, it's going to create like a grid of potential points to move to. You get the point. So then it's going to score these based on their position or the distance to the actual like actor's position. But that means that like this one and this one will get the same score. So it's also then taking into account the enemy's position and adding score based on that as well. So this one is then going to get more score than this one. So this is the position that we're actually going to end up moving to. And the entire reason that I programmed this to begin with, or programmed, it's just like a simple EQS system. The entire reason that I did that is because I wanted to have my enemy patrol work on a point of interest basis. And that point of interest kind of resulted in an issue. Because if that point of interest was, for instance, this lamppost, it wouldn't be able to make it to there because it's outside of the nav mesh, which is kind of fucked. And so then we did get a random navigable point within the radius around this, but that was also kind of like not great because that meant that he's gonna like walk from here weirdly like to here, which is kind of weird if he wants to go toward this lamppost. So now we've replaced all that with this EQS system, which just makes him walk to the point that is the closest to both himself and his actual destination. This is not a 2D game. I know, right? It looks so two-dimensional. In some ways it is. In like his game design and stuff, but don't think about that too much. So that's how that works now, but that means that we need to go through every single one of those demons and give them positions to move to. Which is actually not that big a deal, because I figured out that Unreal has this very nice thing called a target point actor. And this is literally like that. These exist for this exact reason. Giving things like a point in the viewport to target. It's fantastic that exists. I love that. So let's go into the proper streaming level here, which is the combat tutorial. And we can just set a couple of target points. So we can set one here, and then one. I don't care. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. There we go. And we can set one like right here. And then we can make like two more. And if we want to, we can like make even two more, and then I don't know, like add a couple of ones like this, right? So now we've got a couple of different places that he can move to, and we can just find his points of interest array. And I wish there was a way to add multiple like elements to an array in like one go. That would be fantastic. Does anybody know? Because I've been operating under the assumption for like years now that that's not a thing that you can do in Unreal. Like just saying, hey, these are my points of interest. I want to add all of these. Like, I know that you can probably, like, you can do this. Well, actually, there is one way that I can think about doing it. Is making a specific function for it on the actor. But it feels like we should just be able to like do this a little bit more easily, right? Maybe if we just like drag and drop that into there. Yeah, no, that doesn't work either, does it? I'm going to Google this real quick. I've Googled this about 1,000,000 times in the past, but maybe there's a new result now. Unreal Engine add multiple actors to array at once. I don't believe there's a quick way to do this at the moment. You can use tags, yeah, but I don't want to use tags is the thing. So what I was thinking, and this is a bad way of doing it, well, unless I do it on the C++ class, I suppose. But what we can do is we can like make this new function, which this function doesn't do anything, so we might as well use this one. Add 2 points of interest array. Get selected actors in viewport, I think it's called. Get selected. That might not be a thing that we can do, but we have got text sensitive off. So is it just selected? Is it highlighted? Or is that something that you can only do inside of like a utility widget? Then we'll get selected actors in viewport. Probably a utility thing. Get selected level actors. Get selected level. Yeah, that doesn't do it either, does it? So even that ID is not gonna work that well. Add several actors of type actor into actor array. Yes. This is certainly possible. Get all actors of class and add them to a for each loop. Yeah, but that's not what I want to do. I want to add specific ones. Yeah, so this guy as well has a bunch of target points, right? I guess. Okay, so I guess what you can do actually is you can get all actors with tag instead. And just give every. I guess you can do that, yeah. So then what you do is on begin play, like we do all this shit. Probably do that before. And then we can like set the points of. Oh, that's not even blueprint accessible. You get the point. You can get all actors with a tag and then just give tags to all those points. Or if I'm hitting the microphone there, like that is something that we can do. And then I guess if we do that, like, okay, this is the question. If I select like a handful of them, and I want to add a actor tag to these. So let's call this like Demon 1, right? And I do that. Do they all now have the Demon 1 tag? Okay, so they do all have that. I think that might... yeah, I think that might work quite well. I think that's going to be easier than adding like a bunch of different actor references. What do you guys think? Long time no stream for this project. I know, right? I'm kind of happy to be back at it. I'm just like, I didn't think through what to do here. I think I'm going to do it on a tag basis. So if we go back into the, I think it's probably the ground enemy base class, which is fucking somewhere. I think it's this one. Or maybe just in the base enemy class. Like points of interest. There we go. Okay, yeah. So that doesn't need to be a U property at all anymore. Yes, it does. But it doesn't need to be added anywhere anymore because we're not adding it directly. Yeah, that makes sense. And then we a tag is technically a name, right? Not a string. Let me double check that real quick. Get all actors with tag. That is a name, yes. So we can make a U property, add it anywhere, points, let's give it a type. How about that? Fname, points of interest tag. Is there any reason for us to make this an array, give it like multiple potential tags that it can add to itself? That seems like it might be useful. But we're also on begin play doing a get all actors with tag for every tag in that array then. Let's think this through before we make a decision. One of these target actors can have multiple tags. So if you really want to have some of these target points be shared by two different enemies, which sometimes maybe we want to have that happen, maybe not. We can just give the actors two tags. There's no reason for the enemies to be looking out for two different tags, I don't think. Yeah, I think we're going to just stick with the one tag. So then on enemy CPP, on begin play, I should also zoom in the code a little bit more so you guys can read it. I've had people ask about that in the past. Always a good thing to keep in mind. I assume it's just a gameplay static thing, right? It's not gameplay ability. Gameplay statics, get all actors with tag. There we go. And that probably takes in an array reference and a tag, right? So this is going to be the points of interest tag. And then, yeah, so the array that it takes in can literally just be our points of interest. You can just directly apply to that. Why not? Oh, world context object. That is fair enough. So I think that's all there is to that. And that'll make my life probably a fair bit easier. I think we can make it f gameplay tag and just make it a tag like point of interest dot something. Now this is not a gameplay tag. This is an actor tag. That's a different system. Those like they're both called tags, so they're a little like badly named. But like gameplay tags are different because the gameplay tags are just like bools in a little bit more than bools, but they're like intelligent bools in a gameplay tag container, and these are just an array of like effectively strings. They're names. Technically speaking, they get compiled down to something more efficient, but don't want that one. So now these are all set to being daemon 1, and now we need to recompile. Which actually takes a while for this project, I realize now. So maybe we didn't want to recompile. Maybe we wanted to just live code this. We're going to be here for a moment. It's a pretty big project. Well, actually, it doesn't seem that bad. We're going to ignore the fact that I just saw some red text in the background there. Like, it's definitely not as fast in reloading as the 2D project, obviously. And it does seem to be taking quite a long time to do something at 96%. So that's less than ideal. Also, you might have noticed that we are now, since the last time we did a stream on this game, we are on Unreal 5.4.2 for this project. Updating it was a little scary, because when I updated it, I couldn't open the project for like 5 hours until I found what was wrong. That wasn't a fun day. That was not a fun day at all. And the worst part is I don't even remember what actually ended up being the issue. I think I think it was something to do with some like include directories that got messed up between the upgrades. Or something like that. It couldn't find like half my classes anymore in the includes. So I needed to go into like the precompile file and just add my entire project directory effectively into like the include path, and then it worked, something like that. I don't remember the exact fix. It was a long day. Anyway, so now if I look for tag here, we have the... If I look for tag here, we have... Did I not make it a U property? I don't think I made it a U property. Oh, point of interest tag. So we have like daemon 1, I think I called it here, right? So I think at this point, I don't want to do that. I think at this point we have... Oh yeah, of course, no, I had like my version control. I'm not going to just update something and have it brick and not be able to like revert back. I have my version control for that. I had no worries about that. So he walks around now and I don't think he'll be giving me any errors. That is a really weird place for you to stop walking though. Is it? Might not be. You're taking a while. What would be the reason to keep updating to the latest version? I'll answer that in a moment. Play basic attack animation. What is the issue there? What did it complain about? Show message log. Oh, it's all the way on the left here. Access non-trying to read property spawn system attached. Oh, that makes sense. It's the revenge attack, right? Which doesn't have... No, okay, we'll get to that in a moment. I made something as well for that, which will be problematic for some reasons. So some of the reasons to update Unreal Engine for me in this case were the fact that the animation tools got a lot better in Unreal 5.4, and since I have kind of like moved into, I'm just going to do the majority of my animation in Engine, that seemed like a worthwhile upgrade to make. You have the modular control rigs, which is quite nice to be able to work with. I haven't worked with it yet in this project, but I played around with it a little bit in just like practice projects, and it's really nice. And what I'm kind of hoping for, I haven't tested it out yet, but we can actually just take a look at it right now if we want to. Let's see, we have like one of these is, that's the night boss defeated. Yeah, so here I have a level sequence, right? And the entire sequencer also got like a major, it's a little glitchy, got a major update in 5.4 as well. So I'm hoping that it is a little bit better at doing like additive animations now, because that's the thing that I had before, where I would very much like to be able to use like animation sequences and then have like my control rig as an additive layer on top of that. Those two things didn't mesh very well. And I think with this new update to the sequencer, it might deal with that a little bit better. So for instance, we have... Okay, so my character is actually like kind of fucked. It's not like my character's all the way back over here and it's squashed. So I need to reanimate this anyway. But I think if I just go into here, like I have a animation layer maybe that I can add. So yeah, I can add player idle. Does that do anything? I probably want to set this to additive then, right? Maybe this layer needs to be additive. Well, anyway, so the point being is that I don't know if I'm going to be able to like right this moment get all this to work the way I would want it to work. But I feel like I have like more tools at least to work with. So I think what I want to do is like maybe not. Yeah, so this doesn't seem to be working still. Like this is not adding onto that, but that's probably because this control rig layer is overriding. So this should probably be an additive section, right? Oh. Because I think this layer here is absolute and not additive. Can we change that is the question. I don't think so. Maybe. I'm glad to hear that your level streaming is working. Sweet. Guess the big question is there an easy cost from not updating if you aren't interested in what the... No, if the update doesn't offer anything that you're interested in, don't update. Like aside from maybe, I think 5.4 specifically supposed to also like have better performance. Might be worth doing it for that. But if you're not interested in any of the new features, for me also it was like nanite tessellation works better in 5.4, and I'm using that for like my floor material. So I was going to update for mostly that as well. But if you have nothing that you're interested in a new version, don't bother yourself updating. Motion matching and library also looks awesome. Yeah, I don't personally like use very like humanoid animations, so I don't plan on using those animation libraries. But maybe motion matching itself could be interesting. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. So the reason that I do my animations in Unreal is because I've had issues where I make something in Blender, and then when you export it in Blender, it breaks it down. And then when I import it in Unreal, the animation is ever so slightly different. And for the most part, that is quite fine. But I had like one guy doing like a sword swing, and the arm got quite close to the body in the animation, which is fine. But when I imported it in Unreal, the arm, like the elbow, would actually move through the body. Something got messed up in the baking of that animation, and I spent like a week trying to figure out what was wrong. I was like, you know what? This won't happen if I just animate in Unreal. And on top of that, for a lot of the characters, I need to make control rigs anyway, because for these more cinematic cutscenes that we have here, right? Like we have this as like when the boss is defeated, we have this little cutscene, which is supposed to like have my character in it, but of course they're now in absolute space. Let's turn off the thing. So yeah, we have like this animation sequence as like boss defeated. We have a little bit of a battle, all that going on. Like these two characters interacting with each other in this environment, and the environment of course being built inside of the engine. Like this I want to animate in engine 100%. There's no question. Like gameplay animations, I could have like an argument made that I probably like there is a reason to make those in other software. These more cinematic things, I want to be able to animate them in the area where they're going to be taking place. Be able to like tweak them very easily, like that with like all of the lighting in place as well. That's one of the great things about Unreal Engine, of course, is because it's so good at rendering all the lighting, unlike something like Blender, where for the most part you're animating things in solid view and then hoping that they look good in rendered lighting. Or yeah, in Unreal Engine you can just immediately like in real time see what everything looks like, and I quite like that. So for these cinematics I want to animate in engine anyway. So that was the most important bit there. But also, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with my player character. Let's just actually take a look at this. We know that the Animate AI wandering works now. That's not that interesting. Now that we have this open anyway, let's just take a look at it. So I'm just going to get rid of this entire animation. Like everything about this I'm going to get rid of. The transform, gonna get rid of it. This thing doesn't even fucking exist. Why is it being animated? Get rid of it. Oh, hold on. Now the position does actually need to, hold on. The position we do need to have animated, because I don't remember how I was planning to do this. Being 100% honest with you. But like, okay, so where is my player? Why is my player? Oh, actually, that makes sense that he would be over there. He's just. Why does it zoom me out that far? That's the thing that's bothering me a little bit. Wait, that's definitely not the right position. It needs to be under here. But where is my player though? Oh, I'm dropping frames again. What else is new? I wonder, can I just say, hey, why are you just a control rig? That doesn't make sense. Why aren't you the entire actor? I don't know. At least we're back online again. You are... Wait, what? Armor control rig. So I think I still probably won't be able to do what I wanted to do now that I think about it, because you need to have backwards solving probably to just make those be able to run that, which still doesn't make a lot of sense. But let's pretend like we have some sort of hope in the universe. Don't know why he just moves all over the place. Like, what even? What even? Oh, there. Then what the fuck is this? This is the character that we're working with. Yeah, there we have a gross amount of keyframes. So I want to just get your location and set the character to that location real quick. That does not seem to work. Why not? Let's also set this back down to medium again. I don't know why it's being a bitch about this. We can just get rid of the entire transform animation, and now it's all squashed and stuff. Let's get rid of like everything to do with this guy's animation. Right now, where is he? He's right over there. Which is where? Why is he over here? He's not even at 000, which would make sense. Let's try one more time. I want to get your positional data and apply it to you. There we go. Now he's in the same position. Still this weird issue where if I try to focus on him, it zooms all the way out for some reason, but at least we're somewhat in the right position now. And I can just plop you down there. Okay, so the idea being is that we should be able to just play animations on this dude now. So if we want to play the idle animation, which should be able to loop, this should now play the idle animation, right? Yes, it does. Can we set this to loop? Properties is active, reverse, play rate. Can we not set this to a loop? That would be fucking bad. I guess the way we loop it is just like that. I guess that makes sense. So we have this guy just playing his idle animation. That's fine. Then in the character mesh, I want to add a track for the control rig. And I want to get the player re-rig control rig. That takes priority, right? So the moment I add this, the idle animations just stop working. So that's not what I want. So what if we add a section, we set that one to being additive, and we remove the original. That still doesn't actually work. That's fucked. Because what I ideally would want to do is I want to add like animation clips to make the like majority of the animation sequence, but then add in some control rig stuff for like the finer details and the finer points. Convert to layered. Maybe we, oh my goodness, what the fuck even is happening? So the question is, aside from the fact that we have big head mode enabled now, does this now animate? No, it's still just a T-pose. It's just a fucked up T-pose now. um, yeah, so that doesn't really do what I wanted to do, does it? Time to go to Google again. Unreal control rig in level sequence override animation clips. Control rig stopping other animations. Why? Exactly, that's what I need to do. Delete the control rig and then add your animation asset to the sequencer on the animation track. Alternatively, you can make the rig additive and add animation assets to the sequencer. Also, if you have an animation asset already in there and the rig disables them, right click your animation and make sure enabled is checked. Oftentimes, if you add a rig, a character sequence, it will disable automatically. Is that what happened? They seem to be a dark color. No, don't know. They are active. Wait, where did he... Did he fuck off again? Where did he go? Why is he back there? Now really, why is he back there? No idea why he went all the way back there. Anyway. So maybe what I need to do... because what I can do is if I make a level sequence of a specific animation, I can then bake that down into an animation sequence and then I can use that. But that seems like that shouldn't be the way to do it. Like that seems like a bad way to do things. I feel like I'm still missing something that's quite obvious. So let's one more time. This is gonna fuck things, I know. Add a control rig. Can I just like add an FK control rig? Even that cancels things out. But let's just like practice with this because at least I'll know that it's not my issue. Blend type. Additive. Okay, that's good to know that you can do that. If I go back and I just solo this, where did you get slash how did you make these sound effects you're using? These sound effects I just made myself. These like character sounds are just like literally me making sounds into the microphone and pitching it up. And these sword slashes are just me like using knives and stuff on a microphone. The placeholders, to be fair, because it's not that good. But that's, I just made that myself. Oh, yeah, now that I played that, of course, everything is fucked again. Because now you're all the way up there, sure. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I don't even have... Oh, that's probably why. That's probably why. I don't even have it like transform track, I don't think. Let's add one. Like one keyframe here at the start. And then zero it out, put you over there. Fucking yeah, the control rig is overriding things. So it's not additive. It might be additive compared to other control rig tracks, or maybe it's the track in its entirety. Actually. Control rig and coupled with other animations. That is what I need. More people are running into this epic. Fix your shit. The sequencer would be used to generate new animations. Is this what you want? Kind of. You have two options. Instead of dragging the control rig character into the sequence, just drag a normal BP character into the sequence with character mesh, edit control rig options. Now you can rotate the bones during animations at any keyframe. Know that you will need to key every bone at every frame. I don't think that is true. Like, even at, like, in the slightest. That's what interpolation is made for, but so it will require some curve editing to work, fix your footprint. It might be this specific problem. But also, if you're keying something every frame, why do you say this requires curve editors? Because that's literally, like, contradictory. Second option is to have a control rig backwards solve logic. Many control rigs only deal with forward solve logic, which is generally used for creating animations from scratch. If you want to modify an existing animation, but what I want to do, and this shouldn't require backward solving, what I want to do is I wanted to take the output from this and apply like new stuff over top of that. I don't think that requires backward solving, because all these things move in their local space anyway. So it shouldn't care what their starting position for their local space is, theoretically speaking. Actually, probably does need to... Yeah, no, it probably does need to have... Oh, that's fucked. Now that I think about it, it definitely does. Because otherwise it has no idea where to put the control things. But that wouldn't matter for this forward kinematic rig. So that still doesn't actually solve my issue. Unreal control rig and level sequence, override animation clips. Yeah, that's okay. So that's already my search query. Because like I can select these and I can like move them around if I want to, right? But or rotate them more more like. But that doesn't like do much for me. Unless there's something else that I'm missing that I could add. Hold on. Let me just like animation, clothing. It's actually interesting to keep in mind for when I get to the Reaper boss. And animate lighting related stuff. Yeah, I don't think. Okay, so I kind of hope that the new Unreal update would make this a little bit easier, and it hasn't. So it looked like, and it's purely from a visual perspective. It's not that they promised that this would work or anything, but from a visual perspective, it looked like it was going to like allow layers a little bit more and like additively adding things on top of each other. Which, again, now that I say it, it doesn't actually make sense for that to work without backward solving. But backward solving is not what we're running into here, I don't think, because there's an FK rig. So there's no actual like rigging parts to it. It's just literally moving the bones. Unreal control rig plus animation clips. Is this something that we can do? Use control rig to add existing animation. I don't want to add it. I want to use them together, which is different. So what I think I can do is, and let's test this out real quick, because I think if we take this like opening cutscene instead, right? I think we can just like drag that into here as well. Oh, and then it makes it as an entire shot. That's actually quite nice. That's actually quite nice indeed. Doesn't fix my stuff. But that's probably a better way to animate like the entire cinematic here than what I'm doing at the moment. So maybe it is, maybe it's not. No, I don't think it is actually. This would be a good way to make an entire like short film. It calls them shots, but I think this is more what you want to like use for scenes, like an entire like sequence of shots. Hey, wouldn't you know it? My character's fucked off again. What else is new? So why are you weird now? Because there is nothing that should be causing you to be this fucked? Oh my god. I don't know what happened. Let's try to reset. He's also squashed down. What's happening, buddy? Who did this to you? This wait is also not actually a wait. This is just a binary state. Well, I guess if you have multiple tracks, you can wait between them. Well, we do have a control rig track here still. Maybe that's the thing that's fucking me up. Oh, now these are also animated. Oh my god. Why doesn't think 000 is here? It's not even in this animation sequence anymore, right? Am I losing my mind? Just going to ignore this for now. Like, it's not even in here anymore. Why does it think 000 is over there? Oh, now you're back. Okay, never mind. Fixed and right up. Don't know why your collision is so fucked though. But sure. Let's set your rotation back to 0. Okay. Let's add this guy back into the sequence. Third person character. You can just drag that back in, right? There we go. From there, let's add an animation track. Just idle animation for now. That'll do. And frankly, actually, let's just block this out and we'll... I don't know. I don't know what we'll do. We're just going to block this out as a, like, sword attack 1, right? And we'll just do it like this. That's fine. So can we then add sword attack 2 as well? Add sword attack 1 again. For anybody who is following this along, I just kind of assumed that this would work. Luckily it does. If you hold down the Alt key and you drag something in a timeline like this, you just duplicate it. That's a shortcut that I just kind of assumed would work from Adobe Premiere, and it does. Oh, that doesn't work the way I would want it to. It snaps back to its idle or its depots, but we can actually change that to say when finished keep state, I think. So then it will keep the last frame. We will make them connect up a little bit more. Okay, cool. And then we can actually simply drag these around to make them connect up a little bit more anyway. I think we can even, like, yeah, we can even, like, dissolve between them a little bit, which is really cool. Maybe not really cool in this instance, to be fair. So let's, again, properties, project default, keep states. And we can actually fade it out, like back to T-pose. But I suppose what we can do, maybe what we can do is If we add another animation track and we just add in an idle track under that, I guess it will take priority from... Can we move these? Surely we can move these. Because my idea here being is that if we can move this down, surely it will take priority from bottom to top. So it'll always play the idle animation first, and then whatever's on top, and then whatever's on top, and whatever's on top, and so on and so forth. Is what I hope anyway. Oh, maybe we can just add a new section to this. Is that how we do that? Add new section. Oh, hold on. That's maybe more how we want to do that. Hold on. So if we set this now to being the idle animation for this dude. I feel like it's kind of fucky. But I might be just mistaken there. Oh, it's not playing this at all now. Hold on. If I just remove this. Yeah, you see? The animation here is now getting blended between them, so it's only doing half as much. But I guess we can try to, like, change this to being additive. They're all additive. Oh, they should be absolute then, shouldn't it? Can I set that to something here? Maybe not. So I guess this is where we want to decrease the weight. So if we set this to 0. But that's kind of like that's not quite it, is it? But at least it looks like this is just infinitely replaying the idle animation now. So that's actually kind of nice. I just need this to like get overridden. Which is how it worked when I just added a new animation track, right? So if I, instead of doing this, if I just do this and I do that idle, that is how it works, I think. No, that also ends up working additively. Okay. Good to know. Well, not even additively, it's just like an average, which is actually worse. Like this just needs to be absolute. This needs to be overriding whatever is below it. In advanced? Nah. When evaluating empty space on the track, it will evaluate the last position of the previous section or the first position in the maybe do that. I don't think... that's not the issue. The issue is to do with the fact that this... Effectively, what I want to do is I want to have this weighted 1 here. And then I want to have this weight at 0 here. So that way, this animation actually plays out properly. And then here, instead of going back into like a T-pose, I want to go back into the idle animation. If nothing else, as a placeholder. But I don't fancy having to keyframe all that. Because that seems like a nightmare. Right, that doesn't seem like fun. And it also seems like what I want isn't that unreasonable to assume as a possibility. This track just doesn't need to exist. I don't know why that track even exists. I suppose maybe we can even like, oh, that's duplicating. Can I like cut this or something? I suppose the way you cut it is just pulling it all the way back. At that rate, like this would even make more sense to do it this way. But you should just be able to layer the animations like that, right? Surely. It's a little janky there, but like don't pay too much attention to that. Like honestly, it makes more sense than to do this. And have it actually blend from one animation into the other, hello. There we go. Like this feels at least halfway reasonable. Something was a little weird there. Ah, that's because... yeah, that makes sense. Probably should get rid of that here as well. Oh no, the animation just ends here, doesn't it? But we can change that. We can just say that this like plays from 0. Oh no, it cannot. Hold on. Well, we probably can, just not with that specific property. Wait, really? Oh, it's just the weight is 0. Hold on. Weight should be 1. No, that's my bad. I mean, this kind of works doing it this way. It's not ideal because, again, 90% of the reason that I'm animating in Unreal is the idea that I want to be able to do this as a basic block out. This works fine, but then I want to go in with my control rig and add like extra animations on top of that. But I suppose... what I can do is then make like a separate sequence for that specific part of the animation. But you still have to bake that out, and I don't want to do that. It might be the only way to do it, to be clear. That doesn't mean I have to like it. So yeah, again, get rid of these keyframes. It's probably because of the camera that I actually moved that dude around like that. I don't know. Only this clip, not the entire fucking thing. So just as a proof of concept, let's animate this guy now with... I just realized like folding animations and stuff like that. Let's animate his position. Transform. If nothing else, what we can do is we can add a backward solver to this thing. Use this as a block out and then go through. Backward solve it, like bake that down into like actual new keyframes. And then add additive stuff on top of it. I guess that works. Yeah, I guess that does work. I still don't think that should be necessary, but if it is, it is. So let's actually do this from the perspective of the camera real quick. Why the fuck are you in a T-pose? Because your weight is 0. Sure. Okay. You should be... Can I just like disable this? Oh, that's the opposite of disabling it, actually. I'd very much like to not have this preview of its own camera position because I don't care. What the fuck? Because I can't actually like touch its widget now. The moment I start selecting it, it fucks up. Maybe if I... let's try to be creative about this. Well, I guess that sort of works. There's probably a button to disable that. I would fucking hope. Yeah, let's not do this from the camera perspective right now, actually. Oh, that doesn't even show on screen. Okay. Sure. Let's set the location keyframe for this, and then the next frame. Where the fuck even is my dude? That's not really what I wanted. We can move this around a little though, which is quite nice. And when you get hit, you don't even like, not even a little bit. We can make you go to a place where you get hit. That's not a problem. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that Unreal seems to not override keyframes when you have two keyframes in the same position. It's not always great. Okay, when you get hit, we start moving you so you eventually end up landing there. Something like that anyway. It's janky, but it's at least not breaking. It just looks bad. And nobody cares to watch it. But that might also be because because I'm like not a good animator and because my stream is actually pretty not that bad today. So then here we probably want that to be actually a little bit more there. So we can see the anticipation for it. I know that I'm not being the most like necessarily energetic person today. But for once I'm trying to like actually get stuff done on stream. I know. Weird novelty. What the fuck? Can I have like multiple viewports at the same time? I think I can, right? That would help a lot in this case. Let's actually take a look at that because I think we can. Yeah, there we go. That'll help a lot. Although 2 is all that I think I need. And can I... Can I only make one of them show the cinematic camera, please? Because this seems to just be overriding every viewport in existence, which is definitely not useful. Okay, so what we can do is we can actually not do this, and then we have like the bottom right here, we have a cinematic viewport. Now that's still... Why is the camera over here? For night boss defeat. Yeah, okay, but that's the wrong... No, that's actually the right... Never mind, that actually is the right one. I need more monitors to work with this. So if we go over here, and we set this to perspective, I only want this viewport to show me the cutscene. The rest I want to just have free view, so that I can actually like see what's happening in the camera, but also have the ability to move around. Surely that's not too much to ask. I know that I can just set one of these placed cameras, right? I can just say, hey, you show cinematic actor 7. And then we can... Is this even cinema camera 7? Yes, it is. But even there, you don't have the proper like field of view. So, like, what the fuck is this? Unless I can specifically say... Hold on, I haven't seen that yet. Place cameras. Can I say specific sequence? No. Yeah, that's kind of fucked. Unreal show level sequence in separate viewport. Like, in what world would it make sense if I have 4 viewports that I want to view the same thing in all of them? I'll tell you in what world. None. Like, that doesn't make sense to me how it works. Unreal show multiple viewports with cinematic. Unless there's something that I'm missing here where I can say, hey, just show like exactly the cinematic cameras without doing that is the thing though. I don't know. So I'm dumb. Need to click lock viewport to camera cuts. Yeah, I know. I know that works. Yeah, you can set up save areas. I know. This isn't my first rodeo. Start recording? No. Set playback position? Definitely not. I don't know, man. I don't know. This entire article doesn't really do shit for me. I just need 2 as well. I don't need 4. I just need a 3-round camera and a preview of what the actual camera sees. let's see, window. I think in here we have like a viewport thing, right? So we can set up a viewport 2. What if we set these side by side? If I now click on this, it says both of them to the cinematic camera. Oh, but now I can maybe actually set, hold on, this might be good. This might still be good because I can set this from perspective to cinematic viewport. Yeah, so once again, I want this viewport to follow the cinematic and this one to not. Honestly, if Adobe After Effects can do it, Unreal can do it too. I refuse to believe that this is not a feature that Unreal Engine has. I just need to find it. Because we're not going to live in a world where Unreal is outdone by fucking Adobe, right? Like, what is the fucking point of a... It even knows that I'm working on Night Boss Defeated. Hold on. I'm going to just try one thing. No active level sequence detected. What if I now open level sequence with that open? Unless it only works with shots and not with cameras? But that would be fucked. Because then I need to split up every single camera into its own level sequence. And that's going to make editing things a nightmare. Let's see if we just like do night. I think it's called level sequence or something like that, right? Like even that it doesn't show in the... Oh, we can just like double click that. Oh, well that is quite nice actually. Oh, but that does make things a bit... Ooh, yeah. So that is interesting. Because we do have this hierarchy here where we can just move back and forth between them fairly easily. And if I remove this now, it does actually override, but also blend some of this stuff. It doesn't solve the issue that I'm having right now, though. So... Unreal side by side viewport for cinematic animation. So what I want is I want this viewport over here to give me like this view. Just show me the cinematic animation as it plays out, like wherever we are in the timeline. This one I want to just be like my free roam camera where I can just view it from any direction to actually animate and move the stuff, but then immediately be able to see what it looks like on camera. Which again doesn't seem like disable real-time override. Yeah, no, that's not it. I was really hopeful there for a moment. Which it doesn't seem like that's that weird of a thing to want, right? Oh, hold on. And the moment that I move the playhead, it fucks up again. But I suppose, hold on, actually, can I just move around with this one? I cannot, never mind. This track we don't actually need anymore. Was that maybe the track that was fucking with me a little bit? Oh, I think we got it. Yeah, so, no, okay, it works. Never mind. I don't know what went wrong before, but it works now. Yeah, but that's the issue, right? If I now disable this, like, the cinematic viewport doesn't show the cinematic, which is kind of fucked. So it's still kind of counterintuitive as to how it works, but at least it works. So that's a thing. We can refine the actual animation later, but now at least this works. So we can say, okay, in this frame, you can still hang here, but now we can actually move this fucker around. So during this frame, I want you to already be over here. And then something like that. Not that good. Gonna be real, it's not that good. But at least everything kind of works now. Operative word being kind of. So I would like to... I suppose what I would like to do is I would like to copy this over. Up to here. We're kind of just winging it. But we'll get this to work. I hope. That's the handle that I wanted to stop. Okay, so my idea here would be that we do it like this, right? So if we set this one to maintain... Oh, that looks kind of bad. That looks kind of really bad. Can we... Play rate at half. Like set this play rate to like 0.4. Right? Don't know what the fuck happened there. This needs to be faster in general. And then... just get this closer, which we can actually like reasonably do now. Because it's not even like remotely close. If I could just use the control rig in a way that makes sense together with the animation sequences, because I don't want to reanimate the entire sequences every single time I want to make a cinematic. That is insanity. Like, none of this matters. I might as well just delete this for clarity's sake. Like, if we're not seeing the player, there's no reason for me to be adding. Yeah, so there we go. So now we have sword attack 1. Starts right about there. This can be pulled back quite a bit. All the way to here, actually. And then we can add in a like knockback animation that we already have for you. Such a good animation. And here we would then probably do some like new unique animation, I imagine. Because otherwise we literally just have all that. And then we... Ooh, that's really fucked. Like, that's, again, not even close. Let's get you a little closer to him. Wait, what? Oh, that was the right keyframes, never mind. It's actually closer than it looked, to be honest. Oh, it's just his sword attack happens too quickly. Like, the actual swing needs to start later. Can we split these in any way? What I ideally would want is to just say, hey, split this, which, like, using Adobe, yeah, definitely not. Control-Shift-D. Control-Shift-D. No. For this, at the moment, I'm just winging it, to be honest with you. I guess what I'm doing right now is kind of storyboarding it, because this is just a block out, right? This is not what it's going to look like in the eventual game. There needs to be a lot of reanimation done over this. I'm just trying to figure out a good workflow to make these cinematics for the game. And finally get familiar enough with the actual animation tools as well. Unreal sequencer splits clip. This is about an audio clip, but right click, edit, split. Right click, edit, split. Control slash. Okay. And then now this one, we can, that's good to know, because I'm going to be using it a lot. Like, a lot. So look at it, how it works as well. Sometimes you get kind of stuck, not final state. Yeah, Yeah, there's a lot of work to do. And this is already like the third attempt I'm doing at this, to be honest. Over the last half a year. I wasn't even planning to do this today. Oh, we don't even need the second half. Fuck off with that. It's just implied. Good. Helps me a lot. Okay, that should probably be a bit closer. Now that I've got this viewport situation worked out, you can see that things are going a fair bit better already, I think. Which again, hopefully I can get a better workflow. That's not quite it, is it? Yeah, so let's actually start you up a little higher. I think throughout this shot is also like where we... Will this work? Can I just... Oh, no. Now he's stuck on the collision of the other guy. What the fuck even is this shot? And actually that shot does kind of make sense. Hold on. I don't want to... Yeah, I don't want to do that. That's the opposite of what I want to do. I just want this to cut. So... Yeah, so now I need to figure out which fucking camera this is. Hold on. Camera 15. It's got to be one of these. That's camera 6. So I can just select it in here, can't I? 21. You can just look up camera 15. Where are you? That's you. Okay. Oh, yeah, so that's why he moves out of the way temporarily at some points. Now I remember why I did that. So in here we have somewhere, I think, outside of the control rig, we have our transform. And somewhere he does something weird. At some point he just kind of fucks off. Is that on this track? Oh, that's the cylinder. Sure. I don't know why I did any of this way, but we'll make it. I did a thing that was bad, I think. We'll make it work. So yeah, we'll keep that one. Then also remove this one, and the next frame will just be... Okay, now at least we will be able to see what this camera is working with. Which is, like, literally just this. Admittedly, pretty cool shot. Have you ever checked out Half-Life Alyx UI? There's a hologramic thing that is like 2 layers, but only one of it works. Any ID? No ID. Never played the game. Some advice for learning C# in Unity. It's just like the same advice I give for anything, and that is just kind of like do it. Try to find some structured resources. If you're entirely new to it, finding some structured resources that like actually take you through the important, like, need to know things to understand what is going on and how to like make stuff will probably be worth more than just watching 20 random tutorials that just show you how to make a specific feature. Those are also very good learning resources, but only once you understand the basics and somebody has taught you like step by step like how the thinking process of all this works, so that when you watch those tutorials you can understand what's going on and you're not just copying them mindlessly, because that is an issue that like a lot of tutorial based game development has, is a lot of like tutorial watching ends up being just copying my homework instead of reading your notes, if that makes any sense, right? So if you can find anywhere that takes you through like, this is the basics of how the engine works, this is how you set up things, this is the most important 1, 2, 3. Like I have like 2 or 3 different series about that for Unreal Engine, specifically because I think that is a valuable resource that people should be using more. And generally speaking, those kind of like courses are paywalled. Like you have 1,000,001 like Unity beginner courses for like $50 to $100, which is fair because it's valuable content. But it's also not something that a lot of people are going to be willing to pay for because they're just getting started. So why would I like pay that much money for it, right? I don't really have anything like that for Unity. I haven't touched Unity in a while. But I'm sure that there is content like that out there. Breckies is really good for that. Still kind of has the issue that a lot of the content is like very one-off. Meaning that you're not like getting... Maybe he does have a course that I just haven't seen. It seems like he's the kind of guy who understands that that would be important. So it's likely that he has like a course, or maybe it's like Patreon paywall, I don't know. He's back with Godot stuff now though, so that's interesting. But yeah, that's my main piece of advice, I think. If you're just getting into it, you're just starting to learn something, try to see if you can find some sort of course instead of just doing like a bunch of separate tutorials. I think that's probably the thing that wasted most of the time on my end when I started learning, is just doing like 1-by-1 tutorials. Yeah, we're just going to kind of like pretend like this is fine. Like this is animated, because it's definitely not. And then all the way back down here, we probably should make like a group for the cameras, because the cameras are really getting in my way. And then we have like, I think, is this a, what the fuck is going on here? Is this like a... Huh? These red keyframes usually means that there's 2 keyframes in the same spot, right? In this case, that doesn't seem to be true. What is making this thing move? I mean, clearly it is this keyframe, so we're just going to move this over. I just don't understand why this keyframe works. It's the only issue. Okay, let's get back to that frame. Okay, and then we can move him about a little bit because he's actually not in a pretty good spot. But that should be fixable. Oh, that's bad. Probably need to do like some reanimation on this guy as well at some point, to be fair. Yeah, that's actually horrible. Where even are your controls for the feet? I think it's these two. And then this. Is this how I move them around? Holy fuck! World space, please. There we go. But I can't move them around because keyframes are being bitchy about it. If I just move one frame over. Yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to like delete this keyframe. Oh, now we have the individual keyframes being deleted. I don't know why that was such a big deal before, but we can do it now. As long as it works. And yeah, so again, this is not ideal. I'm going to reanimate both parts of this cutscene at some point. Like also the night, because it's like actually just straight up fucked. Can we? Yeah, I didn't think so. Let's just stick with this for now then. Actually, I think I do. Oh, no, 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 no. I think I do want you a little bit more like over here. Um, Look, I don't even know what I'm up to here. I guess we just delete this keyframe and we copy this one over. Why is there just a random sword slash audio track in the middle of all my cameras? I actually do have a separate folder for all the cameras. Just half of them aren't in there. That sounds like something that I'd do. There you go. That's a little cleaner. Okay, we can go back to the third-person character dude here. And just add in a sword stack 1. Which will be just... like if we do the anticipation in this a little bit. The first movement, so that it cuts over a little bit more smoothly. And then we animate your transform to be moving to the other side of you, like this. Oh, hold on. And only a handful of frames, not very, very slowly. Why did you just suddenly not play that animation anymore? Did I disable this? Is it on the wrong track? It might be on the wrong track. Oh, that might be what happened. I might have... No? What the fuck is going on with all this? Animation wait is 1. Why is it not playing this? Is it playing these? Oh, the entire thing is just fucking T-pose now. What? Why? I just needed to save. For some reason that did it. Nobody ever tell me that Unreal is buggy. Because I already know. Cool. Move to the other side here. The sound there doesn't add up like even a little bit. Okay. Moving back down to my night dude. I would super like this to be somewhat matched up. Like this should probably be like back there. It should be right around there. So we have... we can have like a little bit of like a knockback animation still going there. That's fine. I don't know what this pose even is, but let's just... Okay. This was one of the things that I... What is this shot? Why does this exist? Why? There's like one frame in here of a different animation, sure, or a different perspective rather. This seems to be overlapping in some regard. Everything is fucked, man. Cinema camera 19. Which one is that? Camera 19, please. I need you to be more cinematic. What the fuck is this movement even? Wrong camera view. That's a pretty epic shot. I don't dislike that. Oh, it's this camera shake that I needed. Christ, that camera shake is maybe a little too strong. Can we tone that down a little bit? We'll look into it later. Okay. Why is this camera here? This camera should not be there. It should be from that camera to the top camera. Night just disappears. Sure. Why? it disappears here? Why would that be the case? First and foremost, this one, again. Ah, is it because I'm doing something with this object that doesn't exist anymore? That's probably it. I'm probably trying to parent it to that object. Unreal has tons of involuntary features. That is a good way to describe that. Yes, I'm trying to attach this. To be fair, to Unreal, a little bit at least. I did make this like in a very bad way like 6 months ago. Can I please just delete this? Thank you. It's still... what? Oh, it's this location thing is probably what's fucking me, right? But this is linear, not constant. I don't know. It is the thing that's fucking me though, so what do I know? That's... I think attach is what I want though. I want to attach this to cylinder 4 at this point. But I want to keep world space. Yeah, so we want to keep state, but I want to... Can I attach and then keep world space, please? Surely that's a thing that we can do. Well, for now, let's not bother with that. We just don't have a camera there for a moment. Sure. Again, let's close this camera. Oh no, this camera just like exists in a weird position because because we're overlapping stuff. That's why, right? Yeah, this... yeah, stuff is getting a little fucked up in some places. Why are we here? Let's remove some camera. Yeah. What the hell is going on with all this? How did this get so fucked? Okay. Oh, I see how it got so fucked. That's not okay. So if I move... yeah, so if I move these blocks around, they really behave kind of weirdly. Is there any way for me to not have them behave like that? That makes it worse. No. Doesn't seem like... I mean, at least this will let me slide them around. Which is in no way better. Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, this is really fucked. Wait, where the fuck did my characters go? Where's my armor? Where is he? He's just gone. Let's just remove a bunch of stuff. Probably hidden level or something. I'm gonna go ahead and say unlikely. Okay. We have this. Because I didn't, like, it was there a moment ago. I think it's just something to do with that attach that I tried to do. And now he's probably just hanging out somewhere weird. Because that's just kind of what they do. Like, if I save them, he'll be back. It's at least good to know that when something is weird, saving the sequence seems to fix things half the time. That's also a little fucked, because that means that I have to save something, and if it doesn't actually update it, I have now saved over something with something broken. Outside the sequence. Yeah, but I didn't, like, actually touch anything outside the sequence. So he just got placed in a weird spot. Anyway. Once again, all the cameras will need to collapse, and I don't actually need, like, most of this stuff now. Will make it a lot easier to navigate everything. Okay. I'm assuming after camera 15, we want a cut to camera 16. It might have been like 19 or something. We don't even have a camera 16, never mind. Top of my head, I think it was 19. No, but that is also a cool looking shot. I don't want you to make this clip longer when I move this clip. Is it that fucking hard to just function like a normal timeline? Auto arrange. Turn that off. Thank you. Holy hell. Then it must be 17, right? Yeah, 17. So now I can actually make things longer and shorter without them fucking up other cameras. No idea why you would ever want that auto arrange thing, but hey, here we are. Okay, that's the camera shake. Can I also split these? Like, it was control slash or something, right? Yeah, we can. Cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and guess 21. I don't like this shot anymore, so we're not gonna be using it. Fucking 23. And this is where the things are supposed to start moving up. So we have like cylinder. And this is just like an upward movement, right? So we just move this over here. And it should start moving up, but it is not. Why are you static? Is this set to immovable for some reason? It's set to static. I didn't set it to static, but it is set to static. And even then, it's not animating. Why is it not animating? Guys, why is this not animating? Why is this not animating? This entire thing is supposed to, like, move the fuck up. Wait. Oh, it's the wrong cylinder, that's why. And what is this cylinder? Wait, what? Oh, that's the one up there. Okay. But I only have one cylinder. Is this just not in there? I think this is just not in there. Well, now you are. Congratulations. I actually don't think I like this shot anymore either, now that I think about it. Oh, now I remember. Okay, yeah, so I remember. This shot here actually does exist for the sole purpose of moving these fuckers out of frame. So I'll go up to location here. That is the entire purpose of this shot. Doing that. But probably slower, right? And a little less, like, glitchy. Like, a little less clipping going on there. Oh, and that's what... Okay, so we want to cut this shot off here, because otherwise it reveals the clipping, and we don't want that. And then we move... Okay, I remember my reasoning now. I'm reconstructing the exact same reasons that I had before in real time. Which I suppose makes them halfway decent reasonings if I'm coming to the same conclusions again. So there's a little comfort in that. It's a little annoying because of the way I have this light setup that they actually like shrink in here. But I don't really care, if I'm being honest with you. Okay, and then this cylinder... Wait, no, that's the cylinder. This cylinder starts moving here. So we have... We're gonna get there. And that'll actually make the tutorial area of the game and the rest of the game that we have so far physically connected to each other again, because it's not been possible to make it from the tutorial into the rest of the game without like cheating yourself with developer tools into like a different save point. So that'll be nice. It's kind of like an important bit of the game, isn't it? Being able to actually like play everything after the tutorial. So 23 is... no, that's the one that we already had. So which one is... like, there's cameras up here as well, right? Like, at least one or two. I think it's camera... Okay, it's camera actor 2, which I think is the one that we want. And then... this fucking thing also should be movable. Like, why are you not moving? Because you certainly... Cylinder 4. Is cylinder 4 this entire thing? Wait, like which cylinder even is this? And why does it move from there to there? Well. Okay. What's the last time we saved? I think it's been a month. Oh, no. Oh, that's not good. We're still making progress. And like 90% of what I'm doing right here anyway is just figuring out a workflow and messing around to see what happens when I do things a certain way. Because I'm going to need to do this another like 10 times for this game at least. So if I can get a workflow going that works, every cinematic after this is going to be less of a pain. And part of the reason that this is being a pain right now is because I'm working on something that I made very messily, again, like 6 months ago. So I think, like, this is literally just worst case scenario. I'm also going to take a little, like, coughing. It's somewhere between medicine and candy. Like, technically speaking, I think it has, like, some medicine dissolved in it, so that, like, as you suck on this, like, almost like toffee kind of thing, it kind of, like, numbs your throat so you don't cough as much. But it tastes like it's made out of 99% sugar, so I think it's a lot closer to candy than medicine. But it kind of works, stopping the coughing. So I'm gonna try to not make a lot of noise with it because it's probably like gonna bother someone. And I don't want to do that, obviously. But it's also going to be really hard to talk with this thing in my mouth. Otherwise, so. Let's see. Open level sequence. Well, at least it immediately works now. That's a good start. Aside from the fact that the level that's supposed to take place isn't loaded. Also, yeah, there is just a T-pose version of that guy hanging out on the level. Don't pay too much attention to that. Where's the levels tab? It says that it's open, but it doesn't seem like it. Well, this is like real small over on the left-hand side here. There we go. That's actually the case. I am a genius. Why is this guy playing his idle animation in the viewport? Well, the sequence isn't running. Let alone his idle animation. That's worrying. There we go. Okay, that's supposed to be instant. And happening later. I don't know what's going wrong with that. I suppose we just copy over this keyframe, right? No? This one then? No? This location doesn't have any keyframes, does it? I am so confused right now. So confused. Anyway, does this platform go up? No, we haven't saved that part of the animation. What the fuck is happening even then? I mean, it looks funny. But it makes no sense. We've learned maybe just saving it. No, saving it doesn't save it. Oh, hold on. Some control rig. Okay, so it has to be root, right? Yeah. So for some reason, unless it's body and IK also, I think that might be it. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Okay. It'll do. Okay. We actually didn't lose that much progress, I don't think. Which is good. So yeah, this cylinder I don't think exists anymore. Or at least not within the same context that I did before. So we... Let's just say that it takes this long. Kind of at random, to be honest with you. Maybe don't do that with the widgets, but just in here. And then the first bit we will come to 21. Yeah, goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up, goes up. Boom. Up until right about there. And then we go to some kind of actor 2, where we drag this one in. About that as the end position. And we'll make this one animate up. So it implies a lot more movement, and the two things are connected and stuff like that. Okay, we're getting somewhere. It's starting to kind of work. Now, the thing that I'm doing next is working with some attaching stuff, which is not going well historically. Let's start with the knight. Let's try to attach that to that cylinder. It's the bottom one, right? It's that one. Now, if we save, does that fix it? Certainly does not. Just makes them disappear. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Let me Google that real quick. Unreal attach in sequencer keep world transform. Oh, we have attach rules actually, it seems like. In properties. Attach rules, there we go. Location, keep relative. No, we want to keep world. Rotation, we want to keep world. Scale, we want to keep world. Detachments, we also want to keep world for everything. I think this might just fix my stuff. I mean, maybe now? I literally set them to keep world and you don't keep the world location and stuff. Unreal. What the fuck is wrong with you? I found out where it is. It just doesn't work now. Good to see you back to the main game. Yeah, it was until I started working on the animations again, and this is a shit show. Like, honestly, like, look, we have this fucker here, and I want to attach him to the platform that he's standing on, starting right here. But he just fucks off into, like, all the way over there. Even though if I go into, like, these attachment properties, like, maybe I need to do it on the entire section. Yeah, all this pretty clearly says keep world, unless I am suddenly unable to read the English language, right? So you would assume, call me crazy, but you would assume that if I set up the attachment rule to keep world transform, when it attaches, it would keep its transform in the world. Right? Right? That doesn't seem too crazy. Just for shits and giggles, what happens if I don't animate this? Or rather... Yeah, but no, that's not going to matter either. Right. I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to exit out of the sequencer. And then I'm going to reopen it and see if that magically does something. If it does, I will actually be even more upset. It doesn't do anything. Okay. That's strangely reassuring, but still immensely frustrating. Because that means that this just straight up doesn't work. I mean, when finished, we want to keep state, but that's not relevant to what we're doing right now. Or is it? Hold on. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, but let's just see if this makes any difference. Yeah, no, it does not. Well, it's what we want to have happen anyway. Unreal Google time. Unreal attach not keeping world position. Yeah, this is all about code. I don't care about code for once in my life. I care about the sequencer. All this is about blueprint. I don't give a flying fuck. Unreal sequencer attach rules not working. Attack? No, attach. I'm gonna attack you if you keep this up, Unreal. Attach and sequence are not working as expected. Welcome to my world. There's an entirely separate issue from what I'm having. Like, I get that this is probably pretty complex to have this happen like in this kind of sequencer scenario. And have it be like actually responsive and stuff like that. But this is also like not a new feature, so it should work. Sequencer says not working as expected. Yeah, it's the same guy again. Anybody got any IDs? Because I sure as fuck don't. Like, is it something to do with this cylinder dude being like weirdly transformed? I don't think it would be. Keeps current relative transform as relative transform to parent. That is definitely not what we want. Automatically calculate the relative transform such that the attached component maintains the same world transform. That is what we want. And this will just give it the same. Yeah, so this will just set the relative to 0, 0, 0. If I just, for practice purposes or for testing purposes, set this to keep relative, it does the same thing. And there it makes sense that it would do that. Because we don't want to keep it relative. We want to set it to keep world. So, just for curiosity's sake, if I like play through this, it moves, whatever, right? Then at the end of this, it does move back to its original position, so it doesn't actually like even move with it. Is it because this thing is still set to static? Is that something somehow to do with it? No, it's definitely movable. Thought that might be messing things up a little bit somehow, but I don't think so. What if we evaluate this in a different spot? Like pre? No. It just fucking disappears. That makes no sense. We can mute this track and then it will just, yeah. And for the record, I know that I could technically just like match the animation of it going up with the platform, but that's going to be like as annoying to deal with, probably. Especially if we want to change it at some point in the future. Besides, this should just work. Period. Don't have a clue. Like, to the point where I legitimately think that I'm going to just real quick restart the entire goddamn engine to see if that maybe somehow fixes things a little bit more. Because that's something that I haven't tried yet with this issue. And that takes a moment. Ah, yeah, I remember when 2 hours ago when the stream started, I was going to do some, like, coding on the enemy actor class. And then I was going to, like, set up navigation points for all of the actors around so that they can navigate around. And, like, walk places for their patrol behavior. Remember when I was going to do that? Me neither. Because we're stuck in this hell now. I'm just sat here waiting for Unreal to reopen. Hope you guys find this interesting to watch. There we go. Okay. What's the issue? Life. Life is the issue. I'll show you. Maybe the issue is just fixed. Maybe restarting the engine did fix the issue. I sincerely fucking doubt it, but we're gonna find out. So we have this animation sequence here, which is like really rough and really bad in a lot of ways. But we have this like... Where the fuck is my armor knight, dude? Like now he's just not there entirely. What? Okay, somehow that made it worse. So he's supposed to be here, and then when this little block happens, he's supposed to attach himself to this mesh, which then this mesh animates up, and it's supposed to take like both characters with it. What was happening is the moment this attach happened, he just teleported into the void, even though the attachment rule set up here is set to keep world for everything on attach and detach. But now he seems to just be starting out in that position. Which is weird. But maybe, for some reason, it might actually end up being good, because if I just reset this now to 000, there we go. Question is, does it now move? Oh no. Like this kind of, it's not quite where I want it to be, but okay, so it does actually move with it now. So that's, well, I guess we can make that work. Oh, he's also wide. Why? Yeah, okay, so that's not actually a solution, is it? After resetting, recreate keyframe. No idea what you actually like mean by that. Like, this shouldn't be that problematic, and this is probably the reason why it's wide, to be fair. So any way that we can bake this in. Still, the fact that it, no, because it's going, no, this is going to result in issues as well, because we need to then attach it to another mesh after that. So we need to figure out the actual source of the issue to begin with. So there's this weird workaround that I had in mind. Like I said, from the fact that I don't think we need to animate a transform at all, so we can just get rid of this like, track altogether. And that might actually, hold on, does that? Oh, it is the fact that he had an, it is the fact that he had a transform track? What? Okay, I guess we fixed it. They're not going to help us with the other guy, though, because he also has a transform track, so he's going to get fucked in a moment. Yeah, it's not to do with, it's nothing to do with overlapping keyframes. Like, the issue is specifically with the attachment for some reason. I'm not moving like any keyframes. There's no keyframes involved in this. It's just like this block attaches him to another mesh. Which it does now. So congratulations, me, I guess. Oh, I think I know why there was another. Yeah, so this one just stays stuck to this one, and we have another one up top. That's not the same actor, because that's just, yeah, that's just a skeleton. That's just a mesh, not actually the entire actor. Yeah, but the thing is that makes sense if you think about it for a second, and then stops making sense if you think about it for 3 seconds. Because if it would override the entire position, it just wouldn't do anything with the attachment. But the attachment still does something, it just does something buggy. So that still is a bug. Which we're probably going to run into again, and with this guy, because this guy is animated in a non-idiotic way. Well, maybe. In a less idiotic way. And this actually has, like, keyframes in the transform track, right? So if I now try to go into this one as well, right there, and I want to attach this one, it's going to fuck up as well, right? So it's going to like we attach it to this, and it's fucked because he has a transform track. But in this one, we're actually using the transform track for animation purposes, so we can't just get rid of it. Like first and foremost, of course, what we want to do is we want to go in here and set the properties to like keep world for everything. But for this one, getting rid of the transform track just like straight up isn't an option. So he exists and he doesn't. But if I get rid of the transform track and I like, oh, if I get rid of the transform track, he doesn't move from here. But at least like he won't disappear and he moves up with it. So that's kind of nice, I suppose. Can we like maybe, how do we fix that? I guess we can add a like absolute track. Can you make the transform additive? Edit selection. I can add an additive track and then copy over those keyframes, which is probably not going to work. So I'm going to have to remake those keyframes. But let's try that, I guess. Just got to make sure that this is not something that I can just change in here, because I did change it for another track a moment ago. Yeah, you can copy keyframes, but if this is absolute world position and then I use an additive world position instead, it's going to like be different coordinate spaces. So you can copy the keyframes, but it's not going to do you much good. Oh, here, blending type. Yeah, so this is absolute. If I change this to additive, maybe it'll automatically recalculate. Yeah, so this is the issue. Since it's now additive, he's just kind of hanging out. And now he's even further away. So that's fantastic. Yeah, so it still does the same thing, even when this layer is additive. Maybe not when it's relative, though. Nope, also when it's relative. Why do you need to attach it? Because you need to move up together with the platform. And I'm not going to animate like with keyframes him at the same time with the same keyframes. Like that's not going to look good. Like this is not some kind of like niche weird scenario. This should be pretty like basic shit. So I'm sure there's something else in my scene that's fucking up this functionality. And I kind of feel like it might be this mesh, because this mesh has a like weird scale. But like the entire point here is that I'm setting it to keep its own world transform, and so it should calculate everything automatically anyway. So something's just straight up not working as it's supposed to be working. Which is kind of sad for a engine update that was supposed to, among other things, improve the sequencer animation. That they didn't fix this. Then again, it probably is a very niche issue that nobody else is having. So, I mean, that's fair. That they didn't fix an issue that literally only I am having, but I'm wondering why, if that's the case, literally only I'm having this issue. Like, everything works kind of well enough up till that point, and then he just, like, yeets himself. Weird ID. Yeah, he's going wide, and this thing also has, like, a non-uniform scale. So it is somehow, like, inheriting, and what it is doing, I know what it is doing, right? So what it is doing is it is using its transform of my character as a relative transform to the thing that I'm attaching it to. That is what is happening. The issue is that for some reason it does that when it has this transform track, even though I set the attachment rule to being a world transform. So somehow those two things just don't work very well together, but that's, like, I don't understand what you're supposed to do. Like, why in the world would you not be able to have that attachment as well as transform animation? That doesn't seem reasonable. Like, even if I could fix up the scale of this mesh, that wouldn't fix the fact that the location is also just being used as a relative. Are you sure that attachment rule there applies in your use case? I mean, attachment rules always need to be set up. Like, it needs to know what to do with, like, your relative transform. The default is just keep transform as relative. And right here I have it set up to keep world. And when I don't have a transform track, it does that no problem, apparently. Which is, I think, still kind of bullshit, but sure. Then, if I go into, like, my player here, I try to attach to the same thing. Like, when I make this, of course, it says, hey, attachment rule, keep relative. That's just the default thing that it uses. Keep relative. So it's going to use my current world position as a relative position to this object. That is the effect that we're seeing. So far, that makes full sense. But then if I go in and I change these to keep world, let's just set for attachment and detachment right away, because the detachment is also going to need to work like that. Then it should, in theory, behave the exact same as this. But it doesn't. It still behaves as keep relative. No, that does not mean keep parent will transform. That it is referring to the child or relative transform. So because again, when I remove this transform track with those keyframes, there's no problem. It moves with it. It doesn't snap to any weird places. It just works. It is when I have both this and animated transform. Again, we've gone over like additive, relative, additive to base, whatever. Just the moment I have a transform track, this attaching fucks up. Which is just like, I don't, what? There is no attachment rule on the parent side. That's just not how that works. Like the parent isn't even aware that something is being attached to it in this case. Like you set up an attachment track on the thing, on the child, saying that, hey, this is your new parent. The parent doesn't need to do any receiving. And again, it works as long as I don't have this transform track. So all like these, like, are these settings correct? Are these settings incorrect? That still doesn't explain why it behaves differently when I do and don't have a transform track. So the only conclusion that I can come to is that there just is a bug. It just baffles me how this bug hasn't been like discovered yet. Because this seems like pretty rudimentary stuff. But maybe I'm just fundamentally misusing the sequencer in a way that Epic doesn't intend you to. But then I would very much like to know how the fuck they imagine you do use this. Because like none of this I have one last idea. I don't think it's going to work, but as a workaround for now, what if instead of attaching to the platform itself, what if I try to attach, hold on now, what if I try to attach, what the fuck? Can I create like a new attachment block or anything like that? What if I try to attach to the knight? Let's do to the mesh. Yeah, that kind of does the same, doesn't it? Oh, no, that does make sense because I still haven't set this up to use keep world. Maybe somehow this fixes it. Yeah, I didn't think so. Was worth a shot though. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more Googling. Sequencer attach not working with transform keyframes. The weirdest thing is that you would imagine if this was an issue that other people would run into it. But I can't seem to find other people having this same issue. People on Reddit. People on Reddit. When you post something and you add in a YouTube video that you recorded to show what the issue is, don't fucking remove your video once your issue is solved. Because other people are going to come to your post and maybe lose out on a potential fix for themselves. I don't think this was the issue that I was having anyway. Character animation not rendering in sequence of export. That's not the issue either. Oh, this guy even puts the video just in his Google Drive. That's probably like literally the same server. Well, probably actually not. Yeah, okay, that's not the same issue either. Attach objects in sequencer. Let's see.
Hi and welcome to this tips and tricks series. My name
Import animation. Etch top. Yeah, so what this guy is going to do is he's going to use an attach thing. Okay, so I have one last idea. What is split transform? Yeah, so that was exactly my next idea. Is if I can just let this transform clip end and keep it last like... Oh, this is not actually a... Can I do that? No, I cannot. I would need to add in like a... Well, I can just... Yeah, so this I can do. So if I just get this and copy those keyframes over, in theory, that should work. Whether or not it works in practice is an entirely different matter, but we'll figure that out in a moment. So now I should be able to like remove this layer. Everything should still work. And now that just becomes the base layer. So yeah, no, hold on, actually, never mind. Can delete this one. And this one we can actually like crop. So maybe this works. Maybe this will work. Like, let's end this here. Right? And then we can set up an attachment. That is a fantastic idea. Don't panic yet. The properties are still set to keep relative. Let's see. You're here. Still bugs. So if nothing else, to me, this proves that there's something buggy going on. Because it's not even like it's being overridden anymore. Well, actually, that's not true. Because this probably... There's one last hope. That is that we need to keep state on end. Oh, okay, never mind, that works. Okay, finally. Okay, so that works. Good. People in the forum say use constraints. We've found this as a workaround, but yeah. So other people have had this issue, apparently, since 2016. So it's been... I'm going to be dramatic and say almost 10 years. And this seemed like a pretty important issue. But we seem to have fixed it now. So. Next problem. We can end this. And have him just stay there, right? Yes, we can. Cool. So now what we need to do is, I guess I need to add in another like absolute track. Make one keyframe, which is not at 000 like it is right now. Actually, maybe this doesn't need to be absolute then. Hold on. Maybe we can actually make this one additive. And just like we need to make sure that this lines up. So that would be hold on, we're gonna make this work. Why are you suddenly fucked again? Okay. You're not fucked again. It's still a little iffy either way. Way more than it has any right to be. But you know, if it works, it'll work. So now it should snap up to this other thing, and then we can split the thing again. This is dumb. I do wonder how you like use constraints as like a workaround. Like, how do you set up other types of constraints? Because that is pretty much what attaching does, isn't it? Is there another way to do this with like constraints? Constraints doesn't come up with anything, so okay, at that point you would need to set it up in like a blueprint or something, which again is just not okay. Why are you down there? I know why you're down there. That's actually, that makes sense. Properties. Keep state. Keep state should probably just be the project default, eh? Yeah, so this whole attaching thing is just kind of buggy to begin with. So I might need to look into an alternative way to make this work. Because this just, like, this just isn't it. We're even... Oh, he is up there. He is up there. Hold on. Oh, he's just not attached. No, that makes sense. I haven't set up the attachment for that yet. Attached to this fucking thing. I kind of wish that there was just a way to set all this at the same time instead of one at a time, but and then keep states. Probably should double check that this one is at keep state as well. Yeah, probably should be at keep state. Okay. Again, we just kind of need to like play this through in real. What the fuck? Okay, there we go. Play this through in real time. Okay. At least he's up there now. That's all that I could have asked for, realistically speaking. Yes. this movement ends there, and this camera also ends there. This camera just needs to be in a different location. Which is it this camera? I think it might be this camera. It's not this camera, it's this one. Yeah, so this just needs to be lower and maybe a little further back. Where's my player character? Where did he go? Where did he bugger off to now? Can I just say, hey, no. I actually need to play it through to make that work. He's floating. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of research off stream as to what other like alternatives there are to attachment, because the whole attachment business just doesn't seem to function properly, which makes me think that like if this actually has been an issue for that long, and if this is referring to the same thing, like there must be an alternative way to do this that makes sense. Because this is bananas. That is actually insane. I don't pay attention to the fact that the entire cutscene as a whole is just messed up. I guess it works, right? I know you have all that set up. I mean, okay. If you just play it from the beginning, I guess it works. Yeah, but look, that's the thing. This is going to be probably the only time that I need to do this in the entire game. So making a one-off solution with code probably would be fine. But that also shouldn't need to be necessary. Like specifically with Unreal Engine being such an engine that prides itself on making like these high quality, super cool, cinematic AAA games. Like this shouldn't be an issue that you run into making a cinematic. So again, I feel like if this is the way that you're supposed to do it and it doesn't work, that would be bad. But I don't think that it would be. I just don't think that that makes sense for like such a huge engine, which is specifically supposed to be very good at this very thing, making these like cinematics, specifically like cinematics that flow in and out of gameplay very well. So like I'm just doing something wrong then. So this can't be the way that you're supposed to do it. And I want to figure out what I'm doing wrong. I could make this entire thing with like timelines in Blueprint through code if I wanted to. It would be a headache, but it would solve this issue. Like I have no doubt about it. It would solve this issue. It would be just the worst. But aside from this, I don't think there's any cutscene in this entire game that I have in mind right now that's going to need to like use these attachment rules in this way. So everything going forward in the future is not going to have this particular problem. So it'll probably be fine. I just want to figure out how you're supposed to do it. Because I don't think I'm doing it the way you're supposed to do it. But I also don't know how you expect me to do it if not like this. Like the literal only other thing that I can think of is doing like a pretend like it's 2005 and put in like a dummy. So like just put in the control rig itself here as a dummy and just animate this thing. Because at this point we wouldn't need to use any transform tracks because we could just animate with only, well, not even that one, with just this, right? We could just moving the root bone around and that would like do it. But one of the wonderful things about like these Unreal cinematics is that you can flow them seamlessly in and out of gameplay. So that you don't have to do this kind of workaround, which again, this is like a very PlayStation 3 kind of workflow. So that you don't need to do this anymore. Like that's part of the reason why you see so many modern games doing these like into cinematic camera fades, because frankly, Unreal just allows you to do that. So I want to figure out how it's supposed to work. So that I can do it in the future when I need to. And right now when I need to. But like when I need to do more in the future, potentially, I want to know the proper way to do it. And that's going to take probably a little bit of research. Because I feel like the way that I'm trying to do it makes sense. But apparently the developers of Unreal Engine don't. So I'm going to get rid of these attachments, at least for the player. Like for the, again, for this soldier, for this dude here, works fine. We can do this entire thing. Well, actually, no, we can't do this entire thing entirely without... Well, we can, but we shouldn't. Yeah, so maybe... I mean, this cutscene doesn't flow seamlessly from gameplay into, like, non-gameplay, so we could fake it. To be fair. We very much could. Like, if nothing else, just this bit. Like, what we could do, and I don't love this, but what we could do, if nothing else, is... no, because the scale is going to be off, actually. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work very well. I was thinking we could just put, like, one of these in here, but you'll note that the scale of the actual player character, wherever he might be, seriously, wherever the fuck he might be, there we go. Like, if I take this, try to keep that scale on mine, and we go up to where this other dude is, like, he is significantly bigger. And making sure that that scale somewhat reasonably matches is also going to be an issue. Which, like, not even just a little bit. It's like a lot. Which is an issue with the original, like, source model to begin with. Also, why the hell is your collision so round? Why isn't it just a normal caps? I don't know. I think what we're going to do is we're going to end this stream. It's been 3.5 hours. We did make a little bit of progress, like redoing this animation stuff. I just need to figure out what other people do for like this kind of animation workflow, because I don't know. This feels like a little bit of a lack of like technical insight that I have here, like a bit of a blind spot. But I am determined to make this work in a way where I don't have to resort to, and then you call this blueprint event to do something that the sequencer itself kind of sucks at. Because if I'm going to be fair, like, I like working as a solo dev in Unreal, doing a little bit of everything. But if I wasn't a solo developer, if I was an animator working in this environment, right, on this scene, I wouldn't be able to go into Blueprint and, like, do a lot of, like, scripting stuff. I'd be an animator. So I need to be able to do this within the constraints of the animation tools. I feel like that is a fair assumption to be able to make. So there must be something that I can use that actually does work. Anyway, we're going to call it here for today. I'll be back next week again, maybe with some more of this. Maybe we'll be doing something else. We'll be doing this game anyway. It's been a while since we've worked on this game. I'm very excited to pick this all back up and keep on going, and maybe we won't be doing the cutscene. It depends on how much time I have to research this topic. Maybe we'll be doing the cutscene for the other boss. Maybe that's something that we can do, because that doesn't require this kind of bullshit. But I'm going to need to look into, like, this animation workflow thing to begin with, because I need to find what works for making this kind of cinematic stuff. Because everything I'm doing at the moment feels very clunky and, like, not a good way to do it. I'll see you all back with the next stream next week, and with some videos going up this weekend. The full material course is going to go up, so that's technically content you've all seen before if you've been keeping up. And then Monday there will be a video. I think Monday the Niagara particle course starts, which is interesting stuff, real good stuff, like a 12-part series. So worth watching. See you later.